Thousands of years ago, the world was a very different place. There were no cities, no roads, no stores. Every meal had to be earned. Across vast forests, mountains, and rivers, early humans faced a world filled with beauty and danger. For one primitive man, survival would begin with the rising sun. As sunlight slowly breaks through the trees, he wakes inside his small shelter. This is not a house made of stone or brick. It is nothing more than branches, leaves, and rocks, everything he can find in the wilderness. There is no food waiting for him, and today, like every other day, he must find it himself. He leaves his shelter and enters the ancient forest. Every sound could mean danger. Every plant must be examined carefully. Roots, wild fruits, insects, fish, and small animals could mean the difference between hunger and survival. For him, the forest is both a supermarket and a battlefield. Then something catches his attention. High above the ground, on the branch of a massive ancient tree, he sees a giant eagle's nest, and inside the nest, eggs. To a hungry man, they look like an easy meal, but he doesn't know that the greatest danger is already watching him from above. Hunger overwhelms caution. Slowly, he climbs the enormous tree. Finally, he reaches the nest and takes one of the eggs. Exhausted from the climb, he sits down inside the nest. For a moment, everything is quiet. But the silence doesn't last. High above him, the eagle is coming home. Suddenly, a massive shadow passes over the nest. The eagle dives toward him. Startled, he tries to escape. But near the edge of the cliff, he loses his balance. And suddenly, he falls, straight toward the river below. He crashes into the cold river water. For a moment, everything disappears into darkness. Then, he opens his eyes. Beneath the surface, another world comes into view. Sunlight streams through the water. Ancient plants sway with the current, and hundreds of fish move around him. For the first time that day, danger seems far away. He realizes something important. The river is not only a place of danger, it is also a source of food. He carefully reaches toward the fish. One attempt fails, then another. Finally, he catches one. For a hungry man, even a single fish is a victory. But nature never gives anything away for free. A dark shadow slowly moves behind him. He turns. His expression changes instantly. A massive crocodile is approaching, and it has noticed him. He swims as fast as he can. Behind him, the crocodile accelerates through the water. The river suddenly becomes a race for survival. At the last possible moment, he reaches the rocky shore and pulls himself out of the water. The crocodile remains below. Once again, he has survived. Exhausted, he continues deeper into the forest. Then, he discovers something hidden beneath the roots of an ancient tree. A nest. Inside are several eggs. He looks around. Nothing moves. Hunger wins again. He takes the eggs and begins to eat. But he doesn't realize the mother is nearby. Suddenly, the ground moves. A large snake emerges from the nest. It sees what has happened. And now, the hunter has become the hunted. He runs. Branches strike his face, Leaves fly beneath his feet. Behind him, the snake continues its relentless pursuit. After escaping the snake, he stops beneath another enormous tree. Then he smells something. Something sweet. Inside the hollow trunk is a wild beehive. Golden honey is visible through the broken bark. For a starving man, it is impossible to resist. He reaches into the hive and takes the honey. At first, everything seems quiet. Then, one bee flies past his face. Another follows, and suddenly, thousands of angry bees swarm around him. He runs, faster than he has ever run before. But the swarm follows. Through the trees, he sees the river. There is nowhere else to go. He jumps straight into the water. The bees circle above the surface. Below them, he dives deeper and holds his breath. For the moment, the water is his only protection. Slowly, he opens his eyes. The world beneath the river is breathtaking. Sunlight dances through the clear water. Hundreds of fish move around him. For a moment, he forgets about the dangers above. He has discovered an entirely different world. He realizes that the river can feed him. Carefully, he catches several fish. This time, there is no need to climb a dangerous tree. No need to steal eggs. No need to fight a swarm of bees. The river has given him what he needs. But in the wilderness, peace never lasts forever. Hours have passed. The sun begins to disappear behind the mountains. The forest turns golden. The man starts walking back toward his shelter. But his day is not over. For prehistoric humans, darkness brought a new kind of danger. The night belonged to the predators. He gathers dry branches and pieces of wood. Then he strikes stones together. A tiny spark appears. Slowly, it becomes a flame. The fire gives him warmth. It gives him light. It helps him cook his food. And in the darkness, it gives him a small measure of protection. He sits beside the fire and eats his fish. The forest around him is almost completely dark. Somewhere in the distance, an unknown animal calls. He grips his stone weapon. His eyes scan the darkness. Because in this world, falling asleep does not mean you are safe. Eventually, exhaustion takes over. He crawls back into his small shelter. Outside, the fire continues to burn. Above him, thousands of stars fill the ancient night sky. For one more night, he has survived. His life was hard. Every morning began with the search for food. Every afternoon brought another challenge. And every night was a test of survival. Today, we live behind walls, under roofs, surrounded by technology. But long before cities and civilization, humans lived at the mercy of nature. Their greatest weapons were not machines. They were intelligence, cooperation, courage, simple tools, and the ability to adapt. This was the world of our ancient ancestors. A world where every meal had to be earned, every shelter had to be built, and every sunrise was another chance to survive. And perhaps that is where the greatest human story truly began.